Hello, everybody, and I am here today with the fabulous Gretta. And Gretta is a past student of Case Flower School who trained nearly 12 years ago, or maybe a little bit more than 12 years ago. But look, it's a long time ago. She was only a young one when she came to Dublin to train. Gretta, you're most welcome to come and chat to us here. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Deirdre. It's lovely to see you. My first podcast, so bear with me now. Things go a
Well,
bit
do you know
kind
what?
of,
Look, we're here for the chats. That's all we're here for. But look,
that's it.
I remember you, and you came to the school when the school was classroom based.
Yeah.
Why? What brought you to Dublin? What brought you to Case Flower School? What brought you to flowers? Like, where were you in your life when all this came about?
At that time, I was being made redundant, but we had 2 years' notice from the company I was working with. It was a very big company. And I knew I was going to be getting a few bob, of course, because I had been with them 15 years. So I said, what would I really like to do for the rest of my life? And, what's my favorite thing to do? And obviously I had a garden at the time and I was really into flowers and all that kind of thing. Not growing flowers now, but actually busy with flowers. So that was my pastime, if you know what I mean. And I really
Yeah.
wanted to work in something like that. And of course, I was on Facebook and I saw your ads and things like that. I thought, you know what, something like that would be really cool, like just to kind of even learn how to do it properly. And then after that, then see how I go. My intention was to work in a shop, to actually be a florist, but in a shop. And I applied to a few florists. And of course, in 2012, we were in a big recession. There was nobody hiring. And it's like anything, flowers are really like the bottom of the list for the necessities. Yes, people want to buy them, but they don't want to buy them unless they really have the money. So that's still the case anyway. So I knew myself that if I wanted to do it, I'd have to do it for myself. I was getting turned down in all the jobs that I wanted. I really wanted to work in a flower shop. So I said, I'm just going to have to open my own one.
And tell me, did you always like flowers? Like, was it always something you were interested in, or was it just like flowers sounded like a nice job? Like, what brought you to that?
Well, you see, I'm a farmer's daughter. So my mother
Okay.
had a garden, always has a garden. She has a beautiful garden, even though she's in a small garden now. She has an absolutely beautiful garden at the moment. And my first job that I got paid to do was actually in a fruit and veg shop that the lady there, she was a dote. She actually had flowers in the shop as well, growing her own flowers now, nothing imported or
Wow.
anything, really kind of like, and she was only like across the road from me. So I knew her very well. I used to go over there even to work for free. I think I tormented her into giving me a job, the poor woman. But I absolutely loved going over there. And that was when I was 15. And then, of course, you need money, like obviously when you're growing up. So I did all the other jobs. I worked in the airport. I worked behind the bar. I worked in hotels and all that kind of stuff. But I never really felt like as if I was enjoying my job, if you know what I mean. And I kind of, when I was getting made redundant, then I said, what did I really enjoy? You kind of look back. I think they actually helped us in the business before we left to kind of sit down and write down the things that make us happy and things that would definitely wouldn't make us happy and stuff like that. So I kind of got the idea into my head. I want to be in a flower shop, whether it's working in it or whatever. At the time, I was aiming for working in it.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking, how do I get there? And then your ads came up on Facebook, of course. And I said,
you took the plunge.
Would I go all the way to Dublin to learn how to do flowers?
And that's it, because it's like all the way to Dublin. Like people say, oh my God, like it's such a long way. And nowadays, obviously, it's all online, which makes it so much more accessible. Imagine if it had been like that for you. But I remember you, Gretta, in the school, and I remember you coming back to do your module 4, and you actually had opened a shop at that stage.
I had already. I think that might have been in the February or March of 2013, if I'm right. It must have been in March because I probably wouldn't have gone away around Valentine's Day.
No.
I had, and I think when I was on module 3, I had said to you I was going opening a flower shop, and I know that Jeanette was very kind of like, "You're going to need this, Gretta. You're going to need this, Gretta," in everything that she said. Like focusing on me almost in the class, like and a lot of the girls that I went to the school with that time, I still keep in touch with them now and again. And we phone each other with orders and things like that. And I remember them saying, "Are you actually going ahead and opening a shop?" Like, they must have thought I was mad.
I know. And we do still think you were mad. We do still talk. And you're not the only one that has done it, that have actually done the courses and went straight away into opening a shop. Not what we fully advise. And it really is only for the certain type of person. But I think obviously all your experiences through your life made you ready for business as well as obviously being a florist. But not everybody is ready for business straight away. As we always say to the students, make your mistakes at somebody else's expense. So did you make any mistakes?
Oh God, of course I did. Yeah. I mean, I really was like a headless chicken at the start. It was really like, I learned from all those mistakes though. Do you know what I mean? And they weren't like, obviously.
Well, as we say, Gretta, a mistake is not a mistake if you learn from it.
Yeah, exactly. Things like not being prepared. Like, I mean, I should have known myself that I needed to have like maybe 50 strings made, or 50 papers made, or, you know, boxes made in advance, and, you know, flower food already in the water and things like that really take time, and it's background stuff. Things like cleaning buckets. Oh, there's no clean buckets. You know, you kind of go, well, that means I need to do that regularly. Okay, well then let's do that regularly. You know, it's like all the stuff that, it's like it's part of your everyday life as a florist. But when you're not actually working in it and you don't actually get told, a lot of it you have to figure out yourself. And if you land in it, like you're making a bouquet and you have no papers left to put around them, you have no bows made, those kind of things. You kind of just figure it out, I suppose.
And that is really, I suppose, and why we would obviously advise people is working in a flower shop as much as you can learn on a course when you're actually hands-on scrubbing the bucket, or taking the slimy leaves out of a vase, or making up a hand-tied string or whatever. I suppose that's where you see the real life experience coming in. So, Gretta, when you opened your first shop, tell me, what was your biggest challenge?
Well, I suppose money. You have to have loads of money behind you. Really, you do. There's no way around that. And money will get you to open doors, if you know what I mean. So I was very lucky at the time. My accountant actually, having been working with other businesses, not a florist or anything like that now, but because he had worked with other businesses, he was able to tell me, right, you need an account for this, you need an account for that, you need to make sure you keep enough to pay the VAT, you need to pay this. Of course, I wasn't paying VAT for ages because you have to make money to pay VAT. But he had me well prepared. Also, I did a local enterprise office course on start your own business at the time as well, here in the Clare one, and they were great. They were amazing. Grants and stuff. Yeah. I suppose when you do start off like that, it's kind of like you have to be ready for whatever the world or the universe or whatever you want to call it is going to throw at you. Yeah. So behind all of that, you really need good people and good staff and good family and everything. You need someone at your beck and call for all the world. You know, that if you can't do something, you have someone else that you can ask. You know, that's so important. And that's
and I think it's not being afraid to ask, is being open to asking for help when you need it and saying, look, I'm really stuck here.
Oh God, if you're struggling, I'm having to work late to do something that's a big order or something that you can't do on your own. Like my family and like they're all brilliant. Like
I know, and we just say the same about our own husbands are great at conditioning flowers and cleaning buckets. Yeah,
they all learn.
And it needs to be done. It needs to be done. Yeah, you know, and it is good to have it all there.
That's like free labor.
Free labor, exactly.
It is, and it's so helpful. And you know, if you're just so tired and you just want someone to just think for you, even sometimes, you need that too. And you need someone to kind of do a bit of brain bashing with and kind of write out the pros and cons or whatever it is, or whatever you're deciding or not deciding to do. And you need all that. You need actual help with that. Do you know what I mean?
You do. And, you know, I think that's what, I don't know if you do networking like down in Clare, but like I know in Dublin, we do networking here, and we really get so much out of that because even though everyone is in a different business, we all have the same issues. We all have, they might know anything about flowers, but they're dealing with companies, or they're dealing with companies that are not paying, or they're dealing with customers that are giving out about something, or, you know, there's a lot of similarities in every business, and it's nice to be able to vent and trash out things with people who are in the same sort of mindset as you, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I mean, I like regularly people who come into me are actually business owners as well, and they'll immediately start saying, well, how are things? And then you can start in a rant yourself. I can start in a rant, I should say, not yourself, I should say, actually take ownership for that. And I would, and it's great to kind of, you know, talk to people, like you say, and learn from them as well. And, you know, the odd time they would have good advice as well, like, you know, and it's no harm to listen to them and take it all on board and use what you can of it, do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Tell me, COVID obviously was a massive challenge for every business.
Yeah.
How did you guys, did you just have to close up, or could you open, or did you go online? How did you manage through COVID?
We were online anyway. And actually I made a new website myself during COVID. Basically because I wanted to make a change in the website, and the company that I was working with weren't working. They were gone off because of COVID or whatever. They'd finished, and I needed to set up a new one. So I did it, and I had the time. Do you know what I mean? So it worked out okay. That's working well since. We were not open. The shop wasn't open, obviously, at the time, but we were able to do deliveries. And I think we were actually very lucky we were able to do that. Most of our orders, anyway, like in the town, I think there's about 10,000 people live in Shannon. So, you know, within our radius, there would be a good few. And we were able to have those out and do flowers for those and things. Yeah.
So do you think, did it make you more digital? Did you make you more aware of your digital marketing with COVID? Because you are quite good on social media. I do see on, and I will put in the comments here, I am going to put your social media tags and your website tags here, that if anybody is looking for flowers in Shannon area, contact Grettal and Grettals Petals. But
I have to say, though, I can't take all the credit for the social media. I have to say it's my daughter. Ellen is brilliant at that. And
brilliant,
she'll probably kill me now for even mentioning her name. Another unpaid helper, definitely. Yeah. But, you know, I mean, she during the COVID, she came into her own completely. She started, like, you know, just taking photos in front of the flower wall and simple things. We had this stuff already in the shop. And she just said, why are you doing it that way? Why don't you put the bows on this way? And, you know, use those boxes rather than those ones. You know, it was just, it got a bit more trendier. Yeah. And because obviously she's a lot younger, she's more trendier. And you have to kind of keep up with what's trendy as well, you know. Even though
and I love as well that you're going on and you're talking about like what you have in the shop. And is that her pushing you to do that?
She would be in the background, she told me on something now. She thought I was doing something wrong as well. You know what I mean? But she definitely encouraged me to kind of like, because I was, I suppose, kind of, I won't say shy now, but I wouldn't have been going, you know, I mean, I did a couple of live things on Instagram lately, and I thought actually I was going to have a heart attack doing it. It was just, I was so nervous.
But it gets easier.
She says, you need to do these things because people need to see you, and they won't, if they don't see you, they don't know who you are, and they don't know anything about you, you know.
Yeah, so. And it's so true because people do buy from people. We have a girl who comes into our bloom rooms called Denise Inspired. You might have seen her, that she would be on our public platform as well. But she comes into the bloom rooms and she talks to the students, and we would talk about confidence. And she's like, everyone is born with confidence, but it gets knocked out of us throughout life. And the only way to get confidence is to practice it. She says, like, you look at kids, like most kids, like young kids, they're confident to do anything. But she says throughout our life, it's all knocked out of us. You can't do that. You can't say that. You can't do whatever. And all of a sudden you're self-conscious. And she says the only way to get confidence is to practice. You never become confident without actually. So she says, you don't wake up one day and say, okay, I'm confident now, I'll go on live on Instagram. That's not going to happen. You just have to do it and stop worrying about what people say and just get on with it. And you will eventually build up. I remember, and I look back on old videos of Jeanette when we would have started doing lives for us, and we laugh, we say, look how straight and how stiff and she was back then. And it just gradually easier and easier.
She's starting to be her own personality is coming out, because she was like that with us in the class. You know, I have to say now, in the class, she was like what she is now online. But you know, at the start of those online things she was doing, I was going, oh God, she's like a school teacher. She wasn't like that at all when we were in there.
I know.
You know she was. And you were in the background as well. You were like, yourself and Jeanette used to work very closely together. I know that, but it was more kind of Jeanette in the front. Yeah. Whereas I like to see the two of you together now. I think that's lovely. Girl power.
Girl power, that's it. And you know what? I suppose I have got a little bit more confident as well by doing more of it, that I'm getting more confident about being in front of the camera. I do prefer this pre-recorded version that I can cut and edit and change.
Yes, exactly.
The live now, in fairness, like with Jeanette, I'm behind the scenes, so I'm like, don't say it, don't say it.
No,
you don't know what she's going to come out with. But no, like, social media is amazing for our business, and it is something I'm glad to hear, like during COVID, that you did embrace doing the website, because I know at the time I did go on live, sort of saying to florists, get in now, start using this time, build your social media, you know, use it. And so many of them didn't grasp that time to expand on it. And like you look at now, like, well, I know for us, our business wouldn't survive without social media, you know. So,
well, you're online all the time now, so you absolutely have to have it. Yeah,
absolutely. Tell me, what is your favorite part of the industry? What's your favorite thing in flowers to do?
I suppose seeing people smile. You know, when you get to someone's door and you're dropping them off flowers and they have no idea there was flowers coming for them. The ones that are happy now, obviously, because there are a few that don't like it as well. You know, but they're, you know, I just love to see someone say, oh, you know, and then they start crying. Then I start crying. It's really like we're crying, but it's so cute. I love that, to see someone's happy smile when they were, especially if they were having a bad old day or something's going on that they need to be cheered up, you know. With an awful lot of that, you know, in the last few years between COVID and
you know, as well, and I was talking to somebody recently about this, and I'm like, you're delivering smiles, because even if you're delivering funeral flowers to somebody that have bought flowers for their loved one, or somebody has bought flowers for the funeral, it still brings a smile to people's faces.
It does, yeah.
You know,
like
that
all the time. Yeah.
Sad an occasion is when they see the flowers, it is an emotion.
Actually, they do. It's like a reflex action when you see a flower anyway. How could you not be happy? Really,
this is
it's lovely. Yeah.
It is absolutely. What about weddings? Do you do many weddings? Would weddings be a big part of your business? Yeah,
I do a good few weddings. We're kind of, I suppose, I tend to not have much time around the peak times, obviously with the shop and everything. I'd be too busy, but we're doing the odd few now. You know, I did a good few last year, and what I find is I'm not really advertising much for them, because a lot of the customers that are coming to me have already seen weddings that we've done, or they've been to weddings, or they're related to someone who, you know, it's all like referrals from either being there or seeing the work, or the brides that they know them, you know, they've already talked to someone who had their wedding done with us, things like that. We're getting all our
that's
business
great.
through that.
Well, that's a sign of a good florist, isn't it, as well? It's like when you don't have to advertise, you know, the work is coming in anyway. Going back to, like we said, back when you were working for your neighbor and the little flower shop or the little flower farm or whatever, what advice would you have went back down the same road again, or what advice would you give yourself back then, and what advice would you give yourself, like, before you came to us, you know, to train?
Well, you see, there isn't really much I could have done. I suppose fate obviously has an awful lot to do with it. I couldn't have, at that stage, I couldn't have even thought that I would ever have my own flower shop. So I suppose the main thing would be to do whatever makes you happy. You know, like, if you're really, really happy and you're happy in your job, I genuinely feel like I'm not working at all. And I know people say that, but I feel like as if I'm just kind of going from day to day doing what I really like to do, and I feel like I'm not working. I know that sounds like you couldn't possibly be, but it is. Oh yeah, there are, you know, the peaks, like we'll say the Mother's Day, Valentine's, Christmas and all that, and the weddings. I totally have to be fully focused and absolutely at it. You know what I mean? Head down and all that kind of thing. But you know, when you have time to kind of sit back and look at it, you're kind of thinking, this is actually the best job in the world, really. Like, you know, it's grand, it's fine. But I mean, at the end of the day, you can't prepare yourself for the amount of ups and downs there are in the business, like any other business as well, like struggling and everything. I mean, there was loads of things that went wrong. But at this stage now, I mean, I'm nearly 12 years in the business and it is going very well, and I'm very happy with the way it's going. But it's not from doing nothing either. Do you know what I mean?
And I don't think, and we used to say that as well, people say to us, oh, you're so busy. And I'm like, yeah, but we're busy staying busy. Because
you have to stay busy.
Sit back on your laurels and sort of say, oh, but look, the business is just going to come in. You know,
it won't actually come in by itself. If you see that it's going quiet, you have to put something up on social media. You have to do something on your website. You have to, I don't know, fix something in the shop and take a photo. There's always going to be something to keep it going. It's like a little hamster wheel. You know what I mean?
It is.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to take like a week or 2 weeks off now to go away on a holiday or anything like that. It's not like that relaxing.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I mean, it's good. It's definitely not as stressful as my old office job or any of those things. You know, it's not like that kind of job. You know.
It is a different, and you know, I often say that, like, again, I absolutely love what I do. And even over the weekend, I would take the laptop out, and I mean, and my husband would be like, are you still working? I'm like, well, this is not really work.
Yeah.
You know, like, because
you're enjoying it. Yeah.
I love it. I'd rather go and do something like that than actually watch a movie on the telly. You know, like
exactly.
I just get great joy out of it. And I think in the flower industry, most florists are sort of like that about their job. And yes, there's hard times, as you say, the peaks, the Mother's Days, the Valentine's Days, and the Christmas and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they're sort of like adrenaline rushes as well, aren't they? They're sort of like
there
that
are,
buzz.
There's a buzz, there's definitely a buzz. I mean, we're gearing up now for Mother's Day. I don't know when this will air for you now, but like we're a few days out from the weekend of, we'll say, International Women's Day and Mother's Day together. And they're both busy days in the shop anyway, you know, so having the two, it's like a slam.
It is. I know it's unfortunate that the two of them are falling so closely together. So tell me, what are your plans for the future? Where can you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully, the business will have grown. I mean, at the moment we have 3 full-time staff plus myself and all the family. I have to count the family as well because they obviously work as well. I mean, I suppose I would hope that it would be bigger and better, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that all of the pressures, you'd kind of hope that eventually your pressures would be kind of wound down, you know. By that time, I'll be nearly 60, like, seriously, I mean, God. I have to kind of watch that too, you know.
And do you think that any of your family will take it on? Do you think it will pass through?
Yeah, I'm hoping that Ellen, my daughter, will. But you see, she wants to be a teacher as well, so I don't know how.
Well, can't she be a flower teacher?
Maybe she will. She'd be very good at it. She's going to be a music teacher. I have another daughter going to be a PE teacher, so you know you're not allowed to sit down. You have to get up and do push-ups. You have to get up and do that. You know, boot camp kind of thing. I'd say she'd be doing that with whoever she's teaching. But and I have another son. He's going to be an engineer. I'm fully sure, even though he's only 17. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Sure, in 5 years' time they'll be probably moved out, gone. You never know. You know.
You just don't know. You just
it's hard to know. But I'm hoping it'll be easier and that there'll be less pressures, and you know, we'll have, I suppose, less things to have to pay for that have to be paid for, you know yourself, like things work them out, you know, eventually it works out.
So giving advice, my last question to you. So somebody is thinking about doing a course for Case Flower School, like you, they're in a job that they're stressed out to 90, or they're, but we would get as a lot of people that maybe have been caring for somebody and now no longer have to care for that person, like be it kids, that the kids are growing up or whatever the case may be. What advice would you give somebody who's thinking about doing flowers as a business?
Okay. Well, the main thing is they need to have help. Like I said, you can't do it on your own. I know there are people who call themselves florists on their own. Believe me, even the ones that are on their own have someone behind them. You know, you need a kind of a team, and like everyone gets sick and everyone has bad days. You're going to need someone to fall back on. You're going to need staff, whether it's someone you pay or, you know, your partner or whoever is going to help you. You know, you have to have someone. I suppose if they really want to do it and they've enough money behind them, I would advise setting up a shop to do it rather than working from home. Because if you're working from home in any job, I don't know, I know loads of people work from home, but they're not actually doing physical, like dirty work. Like, you know, floristry can be quite messy. So they're doing that at home, it's going to be tough to keep it separate and kind of
tough to walk away from.
And tough to walk away from, And you know, it's nice to be able to close the door and say, get out, drive home. You know what I mean? Get away from the shop. Yeah. So I suppose definitely going to your flower school was the best thing I ever did, because I wouldn't have had an absolute idea of what I was doing. I mean, all the notes and everything, I still have the notes, you know. I got when I was doing your course that time, and I'm not just saying it like, even though, you know, I am saying it obviously, but I'm not just saying it to kind of blow smoke up your, you know, flower, whatever. But I just think it's really important that you get an actual education on how to run a business. Take all the free courses you can get. Obviously, take the flower school, the Case Flower School course. All those little notes all make a difference. And if you're actually listening in the course, there's loads of things that are between the lines and you can ask questions. I mean, I remember ringing Jeanette and texting Jeanette and emailing Jeanette for like 2 years, I'd say. Afterwards, I was still tormenting her, you know what I mean? What do we do with that? And can you remember what you said about that? And then she'd send me on a link or a page or a file or a photo or whatever it is, and she'd ring me or whatever. That's invaluable. You need someone to be able to ask the question afterwards and say, I'm stuck now. and I can't remember how to do this, or I don't know, I have to make this big flower thing, or I have to, you know, it might be only a tiny thing to you, or it might be a massive thing to you, but it doesn't matter. You need to get
it is. And you know, that is sort of something I think we are known for, is support, is like, as we say,
that's the word I was using. I was trying to think of.
Because like you, 12 years ago, we would still get phone calls, and lots of florists around Ireland and now the UK, we would still get phone calls from, because, you know, trends change and people just need that little bit of reassurance. As we say, the day you think you know it all is the day to give it up, because we never know it all.
Oh, you God, I say every day is a school day for us. We're always learning about stuff. Trying to figure out easier ways to do things is a big thing, especially when you're under pressure to do a lot of things at the same time.
Profitable.
And to work kind of smarter. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
All this thing about the preparation thing I was talking about to you there a while ago, it's so important to have loads of papers done, loads of strings done, and all that. I know you only figure it out when you just run out and there's a customer standing beside you and you need to make a string in front of them, or you need to make a bow in front of them.
Yeah.
It's much better to be prepared, and you only learn that from kind of doing it and, you know, actually being in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So yeah, that would be my advice. Definitely go to Kate.
I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and you know what? It's just brought back so many memories. Thank you so much. As I said, I'm going to post your details in the description here and on the screen. And if anybody is sending flowers to anybody in Shannon, you can be anywhere in the world. And Gretta is over the west of Ireland. If she can't deliver them, she will find somebody who will deliver them for you.
I will, exactly. And, I'll figure it out.
She has a great network down there, and she'll look after you. Or any of our brides coming back, expats coming back into Ireland looking to get married over in the west, do check out Gretta as well. Gretta, thanks so much for today. I've really enjoyed it, and the very best of luck in your continued success in Grettals Petals.
Thanks so much, Deirdre. Take care now.